Hey everyone, good morning from Canada. I hope you're doing well. Happy Friday to you. The weekend is here. That's awesome, right? If you're new here, welcome. If you'd like, hit that subscribe button. We have a lot of fun here, usually every Friday as of late. And if you are returning, if you've seen me before, welcome back. It looks like Patricia is here and Taylor from Korea. Patricia from France. Hello to you too. I imagine it's afternoon in France and evening in Korea. Niger is here from Azerbaijan. I don't even know how to pronounce that. RJ is here. Benjamin is here from Iran. Hello to all of you guys. And I hope you're doing well. I have a great lesson for you today. It's going to be a bit of a wild lesson. We're going to talk about many different things. And I'm also a little bit concerned about the quality of my internet connection. So I hope it works. I'm gonna have to figure that out before next week. Taylor, I'm drinking some green tea. I've already had a lot of coffee, so I had to switch to green tea right now. Gofran is here, Tootie is here. Hello, hello, hello. And Jomari is here. Awesome. Really great stuff. So again, I apologize if my internet's not the greatest. I really hope it works. It seems to be doing okay, and we will try to continue. So today, we're going to talk about a poem, an English poem. It's going to be a poetry lesson. And it's a children's poem. As far as I know, according to the Poetry Foundation, the author, the writer of this poem is anonymous, so no one knows who wrote the original poem. I could be wrong about that, but that is what the Poetry Foundation, which is a pretty reputable website, told me. So let's get started. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to read the poem once through. It's quite easy. I don't think you'll have a problem understanding it. And then we're going to discuss it, discuss what it might mean. And I'm excited to hear all of your opinions. One thing that I really enjoy doing in these live lessons and with some of my other students is hearing what other people think about different poems or videos or whatever we happen to be studying. It's always interesting to hear other people's opinions. And very often what happens is I'll hear something that someone else says about a certain poem or video or whatever, and it will make me think about the poem in a different way. Someone will say something that I'd never thought of before that will change the way I think, which is pretty awesome. So let's get started. The poem we're looking at today is called Poor Old Lady. And if you have any questions about anything at all, if I say something that you find confusing, if I say a word that you don't understand, type it in the comment section and I will check back on the comment section later. So, Poor Old Lady. Here we go. Whoop. There was an old lady. She swallowed a fly. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Poor old lady, I think she'll die. Poor old lady, she swallowed a spider. It squirmed and wriggled and turned inside her. She swallowed the spider to catch the fly. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Poor old lady, I think she'll die. Poor old lady, she swallowed a bird. How absurd, she swallowed a bird. She swallowed the bird to catch the spider. She swallowed the spider to catch the fly. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Poor old lady, I think she'll die. Poor old lady, she swallowed a cat. Think of that, she swallowed a cat. She swallowed the cat to catch. She swallowed the bird to catch the spider. She swallowed a cow. She swallowed the cow to catch the dog. She swallowed the dog to catch the cat. She swallowed the cat to catch the bird. She swallowed the bird to catch the spider. She swallowed the spider to catch the fly. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Poor old lady, I think she'll die. Poor old lady, she swallowed a horse. She died, of course. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that poem. Let me know what you think. If you have any general thoughts about the poem that you'd like to share, let me know in the comment section. I've got a question for you in a minute. But first, let's look at some vocabulary. There's not much that would be new to you, I think, but there's this one part with the spider, when the spider squirms and wriggles and turns inside her. Squirming and wriggling is just when you move your body really quickly, and yeah, like children often, when you're holding a child and the child wants to get away, the child will kind of squirm, and it just means moving your body fast. So the spider is moving quickly inside of her. There was also this idiom here. She went the whole hog. This just means that she did it completely. She swallowed the dog completely. She went all the way. It's not a very common idiom, but that's what it means. Now I'm going to check on the comment section in a second here. Before I do, we're going to talk about what this poem might mean, but first let's start with a little warm-up exercise. So what are some things that you ingest in order to solve problems? Now, ingest is just a fancy way of saying take something in your mouth. So you can ingest food, you can ingest liquid like water or pop or whatever. You can ingest medicine. It sounds like a medical term almost. So ingest is just a fancy way of saying swallow something. So, for example, I take Tylenol when I have a headache. Let me know in the comment section. I'm looking for anything here, okay? So tell me what you ingest. It could be medicine, it could be food, it could be something that you drink. Tell me what you take and when you take it, or for what purpose you take it. Okay. Taylor Huang not working. Shoot. I apologize. I'm sorry if my internet is not working. I'll figure that out next week. I think I have to get one of those internet cables to connect to my laptop. We'll see what happens. But it's frustrating for me, too. Okay, let's see. Christine enjoyed the poem, I think. Taylor thought it was going to be about a ladybug. Quite contention by ignore insults. I don't know what you mean by that, Christine. I ingest paracetamol when I have a headache. Okay, Patricia. I take medicine to be okay. What kind of medicine, Christine, and what do you mean by okay? Let's be specific. Taylor Huang. I drink green tea in order to perk up. Very cool. I'm drinking green tea right now for that same purpose, so we're quite similar. And perk up. It's a nice kind of slang phrasal verb that Taylor is using there. Perk up just means kind of wake up. So if you perk up, you wake up. If you're tired and you take something to perk you up, it means suddenly you have a lot of energy. Great, we have someone who's being quite honest. I ingest chocolate when I am nervous. Now, I used the word ingest because it covers eating, drinking, and taking medicine, so I used it for that purpose, but I wouldn't use it regularly like you just used it there. I ingest chocolate when I am nervous sounds a little awkward and formal. It's kind of a medical term almost. A better way to say it would be I eat chocolate when I am nervous. But now you know what the word ingest means. Ingest just means swallow something in your mouth. Okay. Patricia says, I drink some beer to enjoy a party. Very good. I do too sometimes. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Christine says, I mean, sometimes we need to ignore insults, like ingest something. I'm still confused, Christine. I'm sorry about that. I'm still confused by what you mean. Gil Sandro says, could I use ingest instead of drink? You could, but it does sound kind of like a medical term. So I used it here. The reason I used it here, well, there are two reasons. One, I wanted to teach you a new vocabulary word. And two, when you use ingest, it can cover all sorts of different things. So ingest could mean that you eat something. It could mean that you drink something. It could mean that you take medicine. But it would be better in every case if you're speaking casually or almost all the time to use eat or drink or take. So try not to use ingest. That would be my advice. Christine says, I take tablets to relieve my headache. That's great. Advil, Tylenol, plenty of medicine there to relieve the headache. Okay, perfect. Now, maybe before we begin the next section of this lesson, why don't you tell me what you think this poem is about? Okay, what message do you think this poem could be sending? What do you think this poem could mean? Of course, it's a poem, so it's open to interpretation. There's no single right answer. Taylor says, my sister eats a lot of meat in order to gain weight. Yeah, that's certainly a good way to do it. Lots of protein will help you gain weight. No problem, Gil. That's what I'm here to do. I'm glad you appreciate the answer. So I'm going to keep going. If you want to share your opinion about this poem, about what you think it might mean, please do in the comment section. So one thing that I think this poem is about is sometimes in life we do something to try and solve a problem, but the solution actually makes the problem worse. Okay, like look at this poor old lady. She swallows a fly, maybe by accident, maybe on purpose, who knows, we don't know. But she swallows a fly, and then she does all of these things to try to fix the problem, which was the fly. So she swallows a spider next, and the spider is supposed to catch the fly. And then she swallows, what was it, a bird or a cat or whatever. She swallows everything in order to fix that one problem. And of course, each step that she takes makes the original problem worse. And this happens a lot in many different areas of life. And there's actually a name for it. And I discovered this name about an hour ago, to be honest with you, while I was planning this lesson. And it's a funny story that I wanted to share with you. Funny is maybe not the right word for it, but so there's a term in English called the Cobra Effect. Now, a cobra is this right here. A cobra is a type of snake. Okay, so the Cobra Effect describes when the solution actually makes the problem worse. So similar to what's happening in this poem. And the reason it's called the Cobra Effect, there's a historical reason for it. So back when Britain was colonizing India, there were too many snakes. The British government was concerned about the number of snakes that were in India. So I have a new vocabulary word for you here. The British government created a rewards program. They offered a bounty for every dead cobra. Now, a bounty, so here's a new vocabulary word for you. A bounty is a sum of money. So it's an amount of money that you pay someone for either killing or capturing a person or an animal. So if you want a person or an animal captured or killed, you offer someone an amount of money to do that. That's called a bounty. So sometimes for criminals who have not been caught yet, there's a bounty. There's a $1 million reward if you find this criminal and bring them to the police. That's a bounty. So the British government, again, they were concerned because there were too many snakes in India. So they offered a bounty to the people. They said, if you kill snakes, we'll give you money. So this, of course, encouraged people to start killing snakes. Now what happened, at first, the plan worked great. People started killing snakes, and they showed the government that they were killing snakes. They got their money. Everything was working well. But what happened after that, another vocabulary word for you here, people started breeding snakes to get more money. Now, to breed, the verb to breed, means to cause animals to reproduce. Okay, so people started taking snakes, they put the snakes together, they let the magic happen, and then there were more snakes. People breed all sorts of animals. There are dog breeders, horse breeders, right? And all breeding means is when you take animals and you put them together so that they can reproduce. That's to breed an animal means to do that. Okay? So what happened in India at the time, people started taking snakes and breeding them together so that there were more snakes so that they could kill these snakes and show the government and get more money ultimately. Now, the government found out about this. So I have a phrasal verb here, found out. To find out means to discover. So the government discovered this information. They found out about this, and they canceled the reward program. So they're no longer giving money out anymore. So what happened? Well, the snake breeders released their snakes into the wild, and suddenly there were more snakes than before when the government first started the program. So there were all of these snakes now. That's why it's called the Cobra Effect. Now, as far as I know, the Cobra Effect, it only refers to an action that a government takes, whether that be an economic action or a political action, whatever, but it refers to an action that the government takes. But I think that we do this all the time as individuals too. And I want to ask if you can think of any other examples when we try to fix something, but we actually make it worse. So one thing that I was thinking about, and I have a few more examples later, relationships. Very often we try to fix problems, but we only make them worse. Sometimes, for example, if you're fighting, the best thing is some space, but sometimes we try to fix it and we talk more and we end up fighting more. That's just one example. Can you think of any other examples in life when you're trying to fix a problem, but you actually make that problem worse, like this poor old lady in the poem? Okay. Let me back up. I missed a few comments. How Nguyen Van is here with us. Great. I hope I can ingest all of the things that you teach today. I'm happy you're here, How Nguyen, and I appreciate the sentence there. That was nice. You could say, I hope I can ingest everything you teach today. And that would sound nice. Mai from Myanmar. Hello. Thanks for joining. Patricia says, this poem, the solutions could be worse than the problem. Yeah, I think that's one message that this poem is giving off. That's one way to read this poem. Christine says, talking about the cycle of life. Okay, interesting. Maybe you could tell me a little bit more about what you mean by that. I think you do in the next comment, so let me read that. Right, exactly, Patricia. The solutions are often worse than the problem. Christine Bra from Brazil is joining us. Hello, Bruna, sorry. Christine says, I think that's what happened in China when they decided to kill flies. Yeah, it also happened in Vietnam, I believe, with rats. So I think it happened too. I think it's happened a few times. People haven't learned from the Cobra Effect. So it's quite an interesting situation, but can you think of any other examples of times when we try to solve something, but we make the problem worse? There are many examples. I'm going to show you a few. I'm going to keep going if I don't see anything here. It reminds me of Pat and Matt. I don't know exactly what you mean by that, Hale, but I don't know who Pat and Matt are, what you're referring to. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few other examples that I thought of. And then after that, it's already been 20 minutes. Wow. Okay, so let's keep going. Alcohol is one. We were talking about alcohol before. I believe Patricia mentioned that sometimes she likes to go to parties and drink beer. I do too. Sometimes we take alcohol. Well, there's a quote I'll show you after this, but sometimes when we are feeling nervous, we take alcohol, right, to feel less nervous around people. And then sometimes we drink too much alcohol and we feel too relaxed and we say something stupid, perhaps. There are many ways that alcohol causes problems. So that's one. This is a man named Charles Bukowski. He's one of my favorite writers. And he was very notorious for drinking a lot of alcohol. He drank a lot of alcohol throughout his life. And this is a quote from his book, Women, which is an interesting book to read, to say the least. So he says, "That's the problem with drinking, I thought, as I poured myself a drink. If something bad happens, you drink in an attempt to forget. If something good happens, you drink in order to celebrate. And if nothing happens, you drink to make something happen." It's a very, that's a quote from a true alcoholic, which Charles Bukowski was. He really enjoyed his liquor, and I think it's a funny quote from him. Another thing that I was thinking about is plastic surgery. This came to mind. I was listening to a podcast recently, and they made this point. Now, let me say, by the way, too, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with plastic surgery. I think people can do whatever the hell they want, but it is for sure true that it's not uncommon to hear stories of people who get plastic surgery in order to try to feel better about the way they look, try to feel younger or whatever. And often what happens as a result is they actually feel worse about themselves. So plastic surgery, the solution to the problem of looking older, actually makes them feel worse. This is a famous comedian who died in the last few years. Her name was Joan Rivers. She quite clearly had a lot of plastic surgery done. I think she's in her 70s in this picture. But she's a famous comedian who always used to make fun of how much plastic surgery she got. And one thing she said was, "I wish I had a twin so I could know what I'd look like without plastic surgery." By the way, plastic surgery, if you don't know, is when you get surgery on your face or wherever in order to look younger or in order to change your body in some way. Okay. So that is all that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Patricia says, "Why do you drink so much?" It wasn't me. It was Charles Bukowski in that picture. That wasn't my quote, thankfully. Okay. Let me see. Let me catch up. Okay. So Hale is talking about a TV show about two brothers who tried to fix everything. Never heard of the TV show, Hale, so I can't comment on that, but Grace says, "Today I used shortcut. I thought that I can get my destination faster, but when I reached my school, I was already late." Yeah, okay, there's a good one. So you take a shortcut sometimes in order to get somewhere faster, but the shortcut takes longer. Perfect example. Thank you for that, Grace. I often feel like that. Sometimes when I'm waiting for a bus and I don't know when the bus is going to come, I wonder if I should walk and try to make it to the next bus stop. It's a common dilemma. Taylor says, "Trying to lose weight by not eating at all. You end up eating more than usual because of the way your body is used to." Yeah, so dieting is a perfect example of that, I think. Oftentimes people will start a diet and it will go really well for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then afterwards they'll resort back to their old eating habits, and in some cases, in many cases actually, they end up eating more than they did before and gaining more weight. They end up being heavier than they were before. So that's a perfect example, Taylor. Christine says, "Thanks for this lesson. I enjoyed it." You're very welcome, Christine, and thanks for the support. I enjoy seeing you in all of these lessons. Mei says, in Myanmar, when the government increased the salary of civil servants, all the prices went up. Yeah, so that's a big debate right now in the United States and in Canada too. The minimum wage of people. If you raise the minimum wage, then other prices go up. It's a complicated debate. But yeah, I think that could be a perfect example, Mei. Thank you for sharing that. Any other questions, people, before I leave you? I'm going to be doing a live question and answer session in my Facebook group that starts in about half an hour. So if you want to come hang out there, ask questions, I won't be showing a lesson like this, but it will be more of a hangout. So if that is everything, okay. There you go. Patricia has left a comment that is quite funny. and it's perfect for this example. Why do you drink so much? Because my wife leaves me. Why does your wife leave you? Because I drink so much. Exactly. So it's a horrible circle. Alcohol you could probably trace back to this problem a lot. There are probably many examples of people trying to use alcohol to solve some sort of problem, and they're only making the problem worse with alcohol. Okay? What's the difference between eat and have? I'm going to have... eat refers to explicitly putting something in your mouth and eating it, I would say. So it's very clear about that. Sometimes we say have to communicate the same thing. I'm thinking about at a restaurant, when we're ordering food, we'll often say, I'll have the chocolate cake for dessert or something like that. You use it in the past tense too, sometimes, to say that you ate something. I had chicken for lunch today. I ate chicken for lunch today, and I had chicken for lunch today. The same thing. Communicate the same idea. Okay? Anyways, that's all the time that I have for you today. Take care, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that video. And I hope my internet connection wasn't terrible. I'm always concerned about that. So if you did enjoy the video, feel free to give me a thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this. And I will be back hopefully next Friday with another lesson. Okay? Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.